What's good? It's your girl Amani Caesar.
Smoke.
Boy, Dre, they forever, baby.
Brian Reeves, Director of 70 times 7.
And it's your boy, Artist.
The girl Tasia's name. Girl named Masam.
It's Young Spook, one half of Back in Business Podcast.
Aaron, the Gap 2 Diva.
Big stuff.
Are you Milan? Here, Milan.
It's your girl, Flaming Gina.
This Auntie Pig.
Boy, Lou.
Ebony, aka Ebony with an I. I'm from the Big Head Radio Show, and I'm
With the King Teeth Network, huh?
What's good? It's your boy King T from the King T Network, and we are at location, specifically the Westside Production Studio. Shout out to this guy, Greggy Westside. Yes, sir. You can follow them at Westside Productions on IG, right?
Yes, sir.
You can follow them, and you can check out their website at westsideproductions.media, correct?
Yes, sir.
Check that out, and you can check out these amazing interviews right now. It's the King Team Network. We are back. I got my guy Westside in the motherfucking building, and we in Westside Production Studios too. God damn it!
Second interview.
Second interview.
How
are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, you grown, man.
You know, grown this back. And
Yeah.
A little bit of this.
Because
Th-
you
this is
just
still
had
here.
this
Yeah.
last time, so you definitely didn't grown.
Oh yeah, just November. I know the interview dropped in January, but
Facts.
just just November for the mustache.
Is that like a every November thing?
Starting last year, yeah. So that was
Okay.
like the first time. I mean, obviously some people do no shave November, but like, bro, when my neck grows out, that shit looks gross. It feels like shit. Like I'm not doing that. So, Movember. You know, it's a charity for men's health. So I put the little link in my bio on Instagram and had people donate to it. I think we did like $40.
Beautiful.
You know, so I mean, still, you know,
Something.
still sick.
Charity is charity.
Gives me an excuse to, you know, rock a nice little stash. You
Come
know
on.
what I'm saying?
That was very interesting stash.
Yeah, you know, if I was a little bit skinnier, the double chin wouldn't come out so much. It'd look a lot better.
You actually looked older with just the stash.
Yeah.
You actually look like you was in your 30s. Now you kind of look back in your 20s.
Even though I got gray hair right here.
That's because you
Coming
be stressing.
I be stressing.
with these artists. Lord have mercy.
I hate rappers.
Come on. All right, so let's talk about it. You started a podcast this year, goddammit.
Yes, sir. Me and Zach and Walk 9. Yeah.
Shout out
So
Zach.
and Walk 9.
And shout out, he's one of the videographers, right?
Yeah, he's right over there.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
But what does he do in the function of I Hate Rappers?
He helps edit and he is our video guy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Y'all came out, hit it with a bang. Really put the city on notice that y'all here. And y'all have like a fun feel to it. I was actually a guest. My episode never came out yet.
Oh, yeah, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Why did you never send me anything?
Bro, because I don't have any clips from it. Zach
That's
was
what
supposed
happened.
to, Zach was supposed to post the clips.
So you have clips.
Maybe I didn't make the clips. I don't know if I have clips.
Oh.
But the episodes are out. This is a two-parter. It's about an hour on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. So I gotta go check it out myself because I didn't know it was out.
You were the end of season 1, and I think that's like when everything started to wind down for us posting and everything.
Gotcha.
And then when it kind of just came to that, it wasn't supposed to be like, oh, like season 1, season 2, but we were like kind of trying to figure out where, and it was kind of just a perfect ending to the first season. And then season 2, we just started back, started dropping, but getting the clips and everything kind of going is, you know, basically our challenge right now. I know TikTok changed how they want their clips to be posted. They want, you know, a minute 15 or longer.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah. And they're going to pay a lot more for a minute 15 or longer.
Say less TikTok.
YouTube, 60 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And then Instagram, anywhere in the middle. I mean, it really...
90 seconds or less. Basically.
Yeah, you know.
Reels, yeah.
So, it really just depends. But, I mean, everything is put in a real format if you post it as a video now. Yeah. So, it, you know, like 90 seconds or less, you know, it just depends on what the people that follow you as well want to see. Yeah. So if they want to see the same stuff that's on TikTok, then we'll just post that to Instagram too, or we can chop it into the shorter segments for YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. So that's just been our challenge for getting the social media content rolling again. Got some merch coming.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got trucker hats. I bought a little 6-piece of Westside ones and I Hate Rappers ones. Okay. Sold out of the I Hate Rappers ones. Well, minus one because I had to keep one.
Absolutely.
You know.
That's the first one.
But we're coming out with merch through our website soon.
Okay.
So that'll be announced soon, and you can get your hoodies, T-shirts, fucking probably beer koozies or whatever else. Yeah,
That's
all
pretty
that.
dope, man.
Yeah.
That's building out the whole thing.
Yeah, Zach setting that up, so I'm just waiting on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talk about kind of how y'all two came together to make I Hate Rappers.
Well, I like Zach. Zach's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy. Shout out to Zach.
He's a cool guy, and I've been on his radio show a handful of times and everything, and obviously being a promoter and him being a DJ kind of go hand in hand. And then the artists that he works with, a lot of them are my artists, and then just having a good vibe with them and everything. I was just like, yo, you wanna start a podcast together? Because I kind of want to get into podcasting, and he has more of a professionalism at that type of realm already. So I was just like, if I'm gonna do it with somebody, I want it to be somebody knowledgeable. I want it to be somebody who understands, radio, podcasts, like that type of kind of form of media, and then just also is knowledgeable on the subject matter that we're going to be talking about. So it kind of just came together perfectly, and we were thinking of a name, and then I just said, I hate rappers, and then he was like, yep, boom.
So this is the YouTube page, and I am on there. Let's see, part 1 and part 2. God damn it, I didn't even know, and we got 40 plus views. Yeah, motherfuckers, wait till I clip this shit out.
Bro, I only know one person who'll be listening to every episode is Cassie Lego.
Oh, I have one person too that listens to
every single
one of them.
Every single one.
Shout out to you. We never say her name though. She doesn't let us. She doesn't like us.
Whatever. Cassie Lego, shout out you.
Okay, this is dope. I didn't even know this was out. Okay, so we're learning new things here, people, and y'all gonna understand because it's gonna be a month later. Y'all gonna be like, damn, you just finding it out. No.
Damn, bro, that shit's been out since July.
And it's been out 2 months already. And I found out today in this podcast. I want to stay on podcasting for a second because you broke some stuff down, because podcasting is audio, but it is visual now too.
Yeah.
It's very heavy visual in the space in general. The big ones do it to us. You know what I'm saying? To the motherfuckers smaller than us. For you, you kind of understand you've understood social media before I met you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously
nobody understands it completely.
You get your better grasp, as you go.
But even you earlier breaking down like what TikTok wants versus what Instagram wants versus what YouTube wants. And now I even learned Snapchat, the spotlight.
The Snapchat spotlight, yeah.
That's a whole thing that they're giving money to.
Every day, $1 million pool of bread.
So it's like, for creation, for content creators, it's the time. For podcasters, it's the time to do visual. Like if you're straight audio as your podcast, put your camera together. And if you know anything about audio, you can figure out the visual. I promise you. So for you, what is the ultimate goal for I Hate Rappers podcast?
See, the thing is that I don't know. The goal has always been to teach people. So the ultimate goal of I want this to be a big podcast. I want big guests. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. But what do those guests achieve? Obviously, we want to be able to, make money, upgrade our equipment, upgrade our studio, upgrade the look and everything. And that's going to come with having some people on that we don't necessarily want to be on, but it's gonna either generate revenue or we're gonna get paid to have them on. And I mean that's just the name of the game. I mean, it is what it is. But the ultimate goal is for people to listen to our podcast, learn something, or think of something a different way, so then they can learn off of their own success or failure, and then continue to succeed doing whatever it is that they're doing. You could be an artist manager, you could be an artist. You can be a photographer, videographer, and listen to some of these episodes and some of the stuff that goes on, and you could just sit there and enjoy it, or you could learn something. Yeah. And when you do learn something, you take that knowledge that you have now and you implement that into your real life, and it makes a change for the better. That's the entire goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's always going to be the goal, I feel like, for most people. Obviously, you interviewing people, a little bit different, but still, the things that people learn from the guests that you have on, that's a huge goal to hit.
The key.
Yeah.
That's the key stuff.
If you're not going to learn anything, if it's not a comedy podcast, why are you tuning in?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Facts. That's facts. So, where can they find it? I want you to tell the at names again.
So you can find us on Instagram at i.hate.rappers. You can find us on TikTok and pretty much everything else at I Hate Rappers Pod. And you could just find us on wherever else at just like I Hate Rappers Podcast. If you're looking up the podcast, and then worst case scenario, just type in I Hate Rappers Greggy Westside or I Hate Rappers Zachary Sinetko. One of those two. You'll be able to find it. I've been able to find it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Searching myself, yeah, on other people's browsers to make sure that I can
actually get it.
yeah.
To the facts. That's
Instead of me typing it a million times, I hate rappers. You know what I'm saying?
So before we get off the I hate rappers, who has been your favorite outside of me, of course? Who has been your favorite, and who has been, and you ain't gotta say no names, but what has been your worst episode so far?
The one with Danielle was definitely the worst episode.
Okay. I remember you talking about that.
Bro, look, I'm gonna be honest. Danielle had no business being on there. Like Zach brought, we had a bunch of people be on that day. We filmed like 7 or 8 episodes, but there was no preparation for that. That's why she had no business being on there. She works, with me and with Zach. She's done whatever she's done, and dealt with whoever she's dealt with. And we had a good 3-4 minutes of conversation, but there was no other prep work for it. And then the whole time her and Zach were just messing with me, which kind of throws off the vibe of like whatever, we're trying to achieve. Yeah. You're like, cause her and Zach are just like, every time I say something, they're just like clowning me for a second, which is all right. Like it's cool, but I don't know if like specifically that episode should have even made it out.
Got you.
I don't know.
Your favorite?
My favorite episode, I don't know, probably one of the first ones was Zach, honestly. Okay. I feel like we were kind of more structured, more knowledgeable about what to talk about and what to teach people. Having guests on is great, don't get me wrong, but I mean, what is somebody going to learn off of an entire episode of guests? And the guests trying to promote their stuff, and the guests trying to talk about this, and the guests trying to talk about that, or we're trying to talk about something because the guests, like it would just like make for better quality content for like clout. Like I think that that kind of strays away from the point a little bit, and it's needed too, like to be able to get people to listen. Yeah. So one of the first episodes was Zach. I can't even name which one. I mean, I've had a really good experience with the whole podcast so far. So it's pretty difficult to say like what's my favorite.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. All right. So moving into Westside Productions, right? Now, how old is Westside Productions?
January of 22, so about to be 2 years.
Okay, so you're about 2 years. You're basically a little bit younger than us, but you have amassed a great lineup of artists, videographers, and you work your ass off. When you locked me in with that calendar, I'm like, God damn, every day.
Every day.
Every day, but man, people don't understand that's what it takes to really do the job right.
Yeah.
Do a business right. Build a company. So, for you as a businessman, what was the ultimate goal starting Westside Productions in January 2022?
The ultimate goal has pretty much stayed consistent throughout all of Westside's existence, and that's kind of spread our influence and make sure that we can work with independent artists at affordable rates or just to help them succeed, whether that is shows, whether that is studio, whether that is management, or just connecting people with people. Originally, it was just a few of us, and we were doing artist management, we were doing shows. We didn't even have a studio. Once we got the studio, okay, boom, shit gets rolling, more shows, more people coming in. Oh, like we need to really focus on social media. Oh, we need to focus on building up our studio clientele. So, everything kind of gets spread out. Yeah. Sometimes spread too thin, and we got to pull back. That's just facts. That's what the business.
That's real business.
So from there, the goal has been to continue to work with these artists that we've been working with and kind of not necessarily give them the platform, but give them the tools to succeed as best we can at not the cheapest price, but the most like affordable price for the good quality stuff. A lot of people, like our studio's $40 an hour, and we run deals for $30 an hour sometimes too. you're not getting $40 for the quality that we have here, for, you know, the vibe that we have here, for how our A room feels, how our B room feels, you know, our B room set up so it feels like you're at your friend's basement, you know, and obviously with taller ceilings, like extremely tall ceilings for no reason in that side. This side just feels like, you know, a professional studio room. And when you walk into the booth, you got control over the lighting. It's got a cloud ceiling, it's got a turf floor, so you feel like you're indoor and outdoor at the same time. You know, you get to control what mood you're in. You could have the lights on, you could have the lights off, you know, and everything's set up professionally. Got professional engineers in here, got amateur engineers in here too. You know, I mean, we're here to help people develop and grow. We're here to help artists develop and grow, you know. And I guess if I did have to say what the goal was, it'd probably be, you know, artist development through and through.
And I think that is seen in every aspect. So I think that's dope, because you said them. You have the studio, of course. You have management. You have showcases, live shows, and was there one more?
No, I mean, we have people. Focus. Yeah, like, we have people like that do specific things, you know, such as video or such as photo or this, that. I mean, podcasting now, you know, but that's more of a studio type of deal. So, honestly, it really just depends on kind of how you view it, I guess, because our focus can differ from each individual's focus.
Gotcha.
That's within our organization, you know.
Absolutely. So I want to get into the roster. So you do manage some artists, some amazing artists. We actually had a few on the show already. We got a few more to get on the show. Break down who's on the roster specifically, and then I want you to pick 2 or 3 and emphasize why.
So currently, to the date of October 19th, 2023, because this has fluctuated over time, we have Isaiah Linder, who has been around. He was our first artist that was signed.
Wow.
Carter Cloud, OG Mook, Cash Thomas, and Trip.
Okay, that's the 5.
That's the 5. So I can't really break down 2 or 3. Had to break down them all if I do break them down. So Isaiah Linder, you know, that's the guy. Obviously, I talked about him a little bit more extent last time. He was, I think he was, I don't know. I think the other guys might have just signed at that point. I can't remember. It might have been before they did.
It might have been before. I know Isaiah had just signed.
Nah. He had been signed for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he might just, like, so he ended up re-signing the management deal. And keep in mind, everybody, this is not a label. This is management.
And what's the difference? Because people don't be knowing.
I'm not a bank. The label is a bank, basically. It's a glorified bank at the end of the day. When you really break it down in the dumbest, simplest terms, they are a bank with extra resources. They're a bank that has multiple businesses ran with the bank being the backer of that, and then they give you a loan. And then they own a piece of your shit. I don't own any of my artist stuff at all. I just get a percentage of profits for the work that I do. Okay. Not for everything that comes in from them, but for the work that I do. I'm a resource for them. I help with the business, like whatever business there is, I manage that. Okay. You know, I help with their social media content. Obviously, owning a studio is a nice perk, you know, especially if your manager has that. Showcases, you know, shows, when there's national acts that come in town, whether I book them or not, being able to help get them on, you know, kind of spread their influence, help with their marketing, help with, you know, their development just in general. You know, that's kind of a managerial role. Okay. So the artists I have, I'm their manager. I'm not their label. I don't own anything. A lot of people get that kind of, because
once you sign, it's like, oh, he signed to somebody. Like, no, it's different.
Yeah, no. When we had our signing day, we did that just for clout.
Right.
It was just kind of goofy because it's like, okay, like this is, you know, it's a big moment when somebody who actually, like me, who has a studio, who has structure around, who has, you know, a team that is there, and that team believes in the artist. Like when you sign to somebody like me, it's different than if you're being managed by your friend, because there's more structure. Yeah. Even if these are my boys, you know what I'm saying? It's different because at the end of the day, there is like legitimacy to, you know, be had.
Yeah, I guess. The Westside studio with Westside Productions.
So with that, you know, the artists treat it more seriously than they would if not. And when you treat stuff more seriously, you know, you kind of get a better output.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I love it. So, moving into the show aspect of it, because that's a big part of Westside Productions. The doing showcases. What is kind of your what is, I would say, the most rewarding part about doing showcases? Because showcases are long. They're like, you gotta like drag people sometimes, and this is without the major headliner. Because I want to talk about that too.
I mean, it's really just discovering new artists.
Okay.
For like actual showcases. Tonight we got a show, and there's 2 people who sold over 20 tickets, and there's probably like another 5 or 6 that sold over 10, which is a pretty good lineup for like, you know, a Thursday night showcase.
Yeah.
And you know, the top artist is Chunk Boner. I
Shout
haven't
out
met him.
Chuck. I'm
Chunk.
gonna bring you out
Chunk.
tonight, my boy. Chunk.
Chunk
See?
Boner.
Chunk. I'm gonna bring you out tonight, my boy.
So he dropped a 30 piece, and then I think it's Nesto, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check.
And have you ever worked with these artists before?
First time working with both of them.
Okay,
Both
so
dropped
that's
20 plus for a showcase.
And that's kind of why you do them, is to discover who actually has a fan base, who actually can get people in. Okay.
100%. And then also, because it's just a showcase, there's not like a lot of pressure on, you know, financial responsibility on either side. One, it does end up producing, you know, a consistent stream of revenue for the business. And then 2, it produces an opportunity for the artist to get paid at a higher percentage rate, at least through my shows. They get paid out a lot higher of a percentage the more tickets they climb up, and a lot faster than they would if there's like a headliner coming in. Because if I have a headliner, there's $3,000 in expenses, and you're bringing in $250 worth of sales. Well, how many people do I need bringing in $250 worth of sales for there to even be profit? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's a lot easier to be able to get these guys actually paid, with whether it's, you know, shitty money or good money, just depending on how much they sell. And that's a big part that artists don't understand is, you know, just the expenses behind everything. Oh, yeah. Like, if I step into a venue, I'm at minimum running $700 in expenses for a showcase.
That's even no class?
Oh, yeah. Well, but my DJ, like my cheap ass DJ, not like he's a good DJ, but doing showcases for cheap. My door person, the venue rental, the sound guy, you know, the bartenders, you know, for tips and shit like that. Like, bro, you can easily run $700 in expenses. Wow. Like, crazy easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ticket Nut, is it?
Ticket Nut, yeah.
Talk about that, because that's something that's new, but it's definitely something you use for your showcases and for your shows. So what makes Ticket Nut different?
So Ticket Nut, I love Ticket Nut. I know the owner of Ticket Nut. So,
Dan, right?
Yeah, Dan Cole.
Shout out Dan Cole.
Shout out
he
Dan
was
Cole.
actually one of my first. He was like my 3rd interview ever.
First dude to book me on a show when I was a rapper.
Come on.
Yeah. So, so yeah, Ticket Nut. He owns Ticket Nut. Him and a few other people, and so their ticketing platform is basically based on how he had modeled the shows for the ticket sales. So how you sell this many tickets, you know, and then this person sells this many, this person sells this many. You kind of go in that order of performances. So it's like, as far as I've been told, it's the only ticketing service that is patented to live track ticket sales.
Wow.
And give them time slots based on the ticket sales.
Wow, live. Like,
live.
It'll move it.
Every time a single ticket is bought, it moves it up, as long as you show it to the public.
Like a leaderboard.
Yeah.
That's
so
dope.
Yeah, so it's easier for a promoter to kind of like track where these artists are selling, and then on top of that, they only charge us $1 service fee. Plus tax, but a $1 service fee.
That's beautiful.
Ticket Nut, you know, versus like a Ticketmaster. I bought 2 tickets to see Black in November, and I think the tickets were supposed to be like $55. Tax, ticket fees, $85, $90.
Joe, you was talking about this. Joe, get them fees together, and we talking about buying. Joe, I know you got all this going on over them ticket. Come on, because everybody want to see Beyonce, but we don't want to pay $50 in ticket fees and shit. Come on. But that's a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real thing. And, you know, depending on, you know, like Ticket Nut is, you know, it differs because it has, you know, a handful of small promoters. I'm, as of right now, the person with the most amount of shows on Ticket Nut.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, by far too.
So you can have, so there's different promoters that have like, is it kind of like Eventbrite where you make your own kind of, what is it, profile?
Yeah,
So you can track what you've done under.
yeah,
that? Okay.
yeah. So like, it's more of a show by show basis than like an overall with Eventbrite and like the in depthness, I
Right.
guess. But you'd have to like go to Dan or to one of the people, and then they would get you a profile made. They'd send you an email, and then you'd log in. I break down to a lot of people how Ticket Note works for them, and like I've made tutorials of like how to buy tickets properly and this, that, and the third, just because it's a little confusing. And I mean that's how it's gonna be with the newer ticketing service. But you know, all the issues that I've had have been minimal. There's never been anything crazy. And you know, I really do love the ticketing service. Like I do. It's very efficient. It's very cheap for people to buy tickets. You know, if you're buying a $15 ticket, your total ends up being like $16.83.
Wow.
After tax.
Not
like
21.
yeah, you know, not $21.75.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot more cost effective for people.
That's great information because I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, but that's why I use it.
Yeah.
And it's also easier for the promoter to get paid out if you depending on your contact. Like, you know, a couple of my guys that work with me on shows, I'm the contact point to Dan. So Dan sends me the money, I gotta send the money to them. But for me, it's just like a, you know, one-to-one transaction.
Right.
And, you know, I get paid out a lot faster. Eventbrite, I use that a few times, and you get paid out twice a month, or like at the end of the week, or like 7 to 10 days after the event's over, and you gotta wait for all that money. And then that would mean you'd have to front all the money.
Right.
So it's just like, dude, I'm not doing that. There's
So-
no way I'm doing that now.
So it's more efficient for promoters to be able to do more shows.
Right, 100%.
Wow.
And be able to
Promoters.
pay people out properly. You know, I used to have to wait for Eventbrite to send the money in, and then half of the people would forget about the money, or like I'd be so busy that I'd forget about the money, and then 2 months later I'd book them for another show, and I see them like, oh fuck, here's your money. like,
Wow.
like that, it's just, it is what it is. If you're waiting that long,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you know, I mean, obviously you get taxed on whatever, but you know, I don't know, the taxes and fees with Eventbrite. It's just, you know, I don't know. I like Ticket Note better.
Ticket Nut, go get that. Moving into the studio, right? So you get the studio in tune last year or this year.
March of 2022, we got the B room side. Well, what is now our B room side? It was our only side.
Oh, okay.
And put that together, opened by May, and had that running. Then this year, we got our A room side.
Got you.
And then Christian J built up the entire A room side in this room. So everything you see is 100% attributed to Christian J. You know, my guy's a carpenter. He is an audio engineer. He's everything, bro. Like, this dude, he put in the floor. He's going to put in a new floor because it's cracking a little bit. He built this desk.
Did he really?
Yep.
Oh, that's hard.
Custom desk built by him. He put the window in right there that used to just be like a closet. He actually made these are like sound diffusers, and there's multiple around the room. He made those by hand.
What?
Yep.
Oh, this is state
No,
state of the art right here. We've hit a lot of like the business, right?
Yeah.
But I want to touch on the guy, right?
Okay.
Do you ever get overwhelmed with all of this?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah. That's like one of the hardest parts about it is like, and I told this to the guys the other day, you know, they were saying, you know, sometimes you got to spread, you know, some responsibility, and that's true. And I've tried my best to do that, but it also depends on who you can spread the responsibility to. And my example was with OB Digital and Walk 9. I can't throw any more on their plate right now because I'm listing things off. I'm like, bro's in college, bro's, you know, getting a consistent client base, bro's doing this, bro's doing that. If you succeed at that and you feel like you can take more on your plate, then take another serving. Like Walk, like he's got 2 jobs, he's got this, he's got the podcast, he's got social media content. Like if he gets thrown another thing, is that thing gonna be 100% successful? Right. Like how long have you been doing all of these things at the same time for? And you know, that's been an issue in the past for people that I've worked with that have worked for me in here and just myself, you know, trying to like get a grip on being able to do all these things at once. And I feel like everything kind of came to, you know, a breaking point for me at one point last year, in 2022, and that's why I quit making music.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I was having panic attacks, like
Really?
bad. I was getting overwhelmed. I was getting stressed out, and I just couldn't handle everything on my plate. And you know, like you got a relationship, you own a business, you're responsible for other people's, you know, success, you know, livelihoods. On top of that, like, oh, like I'm engineering at the studio. I'm like, you know, I'm managing 2, 3, 4, 5 artists,
Right.
you know, and it's just like everything piles up, and it's like what I expect. But, you know, it wasn't what I wanted anymore. Like I love being within the music industry, and I always said like I'll never like quit making music. I guess I lied, but you know, I mean, like, it just got to a point where, you know, that isn't the thing that's going to be the most successful. It's not where I'm going to be able to make the best impact. And if I can do my best to make the best impact and affect people's lives for the better, I'm going to choose that path 100% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's like a dream that I've had for half a decade and something I worked for hard and spent tens of thousands of dollars at for a half decade or more. Fuck it, whatever. Like,
Really?
yeah. Now I'm here.
Right.
And I'm putting all my money and energy into this, and I don't have panic attacks anymore.
Wow.
And it was just like, I don't know, it was just nice to like not have that stress. And now that I'm not an artist, not a performer, you know, I kind of see the full scope of things more, and I can see, you know, perception and other people's perception of certain things about artists now that I really didn't take the time to try and see before. Yeah. And I know what it's like being an independent artist, and that helps me manage artists a lot better because I know exactly the same type of feeling that they've gone through for certain things. Like, oh, dude, like I want to make music. Like, you know, I'm not like, it's hard posting on social media. I'm like, yeah, it's hard. It's really fucking hard. And it's hard for me to still post consistently too. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. But like, do you want this? Like, that's the question. Right. If you really do, you're gonna do it, or you're gonna make sure you're gonna delegate. Yeah. Like, you know, there's only so much. Like, if you have 100% of control of your shit, then you got to do 100% of the work. The more control you give up, the more that you have other people do. You know, it makes it a lot easier. But at the same time, that's like, you know, it's am I an independent artist, or am I trying to sign to a label? And when you think of it like that, okay, like I'm giving up a lot of control to the label. I just got to focus on making music. But then you're even giving up control of your music sometimes, and what type of music's being made, when it's coming out. But you have a lot less work to do. But there's a better team working around, or there's just a team, not necessarily better. Or it's just there's people there, but it's worse, you know. But you gave up control, and that's kind of, you know, what you got to do sometimes, whether it's going to be good or bad, and you got to test that out. You know, there's been plenty of people in here that haven't worked out, and you know, whether it's a mutual thing, whether it's a one-sided thing, you know, like there's been people there where it's like, there's no reason they should have been Westside, like at all.
But you have to figure that out.
Yeah, and it's like,
how do you go through like how is that like for you personally? Figuring out, all right, this person doesn't work for what we're trying to do.
I mean, it's a two-way street. That's and that's like the main thing is that, without really diving into any situations, when you are not benefiting from being here, and you're also not putting anything in, then what's the point of you being here? Or if we're putting a lot of effort in, if we're putting a lot of effort into, like, let's say it's you personally, right? Let's say like, oh, you've been here for 6 months, and you know, you do the podcasting and you do the clips, but you'd never post it. And then shit gets hectic for a month, and then you're gone for a month. You don't talk to anybody for a month, and then you're back in it, but you're still not posting. Right. You know, like that, and that none of that happened. But like, let's just use that as an example. So what's the point of you being here, T? You know what I mean? Because like, bro, you could be doing the same shit somewhere else, in your house even, without any pressure from us, and without us feeling, or without feeling obligated to us, without us breathing down your neck, being like, yo, like we got to get this shit rolling. you know, the people that are here, they want to, you know, take everything serious. They want to make sure that, you know, shit gets done. You know, get shit done is the motto, man.
Yeah,
so, you know, when stuff can't get done, you know, what's the point?
Right.
And I mean, no hard feelings to anybody. Like if that goes on.
Or in the
Never
future,
has been.
Because
Yeah.
may be somebody
Oh,
that you thought was right, but wasn't when
Yeah.
you actually got them in here.
Yeah.
That's facts, but that's being a great businessman. Because sometimes the hardest thing is having the conversation. Like,
Yeah.
all right, this doesn't work. All right, let's not bullshit this. Because you know how many times people just bullshit things until either that person ends up leaving or 2 years go down and nothing's got done. And what we don't understand is that space can be provided for somebody who may be the one that's going to blow everything up. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
We can only
100%.
focus on so much. So, man, that's huge that you know that and are willing to act on that.
Yeah, and I mean the tough part is that you build personal relationships with these people, and you know you don't see them as much, or you don't talk to them as much. You know, Alexander Moses, I feel like is probably like the best example of that, because that was like the most mutual.
Shout
you
out
know,
Alexander. He's actually my
yeah,
guy.
shout out my guy, but it was the most mutual breakup that I've ever had. Like so, yeah, because like bro, he has a bunch of shit going on.
Ilty, all of that.
You know, well, this was before Ilty.
Yeah,
This was
okay.
right before Ilty when, you know, he left, and, you know, I kind of just like laid it out. I'm like, look, like, you know, we agree on this part, and I laid out, boom, boom, boom. He goes, yeah, like the structure of everything, and you know, what we had to get going. And I'm like, all right, look, like coming up, I need this. And I just like I laid a bunch of shit. I'm like, bro, like, you know, like all this stuff needs to get done. Do you think you're gonna be the guy to do it? And he's like, goes like. I leave the studio one night, I'm on the phone with him. He's like, yeah, I got this. Calls me the next morning. He's like, yeah, bro, honestly, I thought about it. I don't think it's going to be the best idea. And I'm just like, I don't think it is either. Because like, if you can't get that done because you have other stuff going on, then, you know, I'm not trying to load your plate up. I'm not trying to rely on you not getting it done. And I'm not trying to like give you a workload that you can't handle, because you're only one dude.
Right.
Like if I'm giving you 25 graphics that need to be done by next week, you can't fucking do that if you also have to take like a lot of other paid commissions. Doesn't make sense for either side.
Facts.
Like at all.
Facts.
But that's my guy though.
No, but that's real business.
Yeah.
That's real business, and what people don't like to talk about is the business. Like it's real business, and if we want to get to big business, we got to do the small business right. And that's having the conversations. That's mutually understanding. It might not work. Mutually understanding. It may have worked for a couple months, but it don't work now. You know what I'm saying? And being okay with that. And still being that's your guy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't fall out personally because of business.
Yeah.
And that's being a good business person. Is that you can keep a personal relationship after the business may not have worked. So, man, I really want the two things we do here is the one you did last time, but this is the new one that we put in. It's the manifestation of whatever you're trying to do, but I specifically want to focus on the manifestation of Westside Productions. So I want you to talk about or talk on what you believe you want to see in the next year to 2.5 years to 5 to what Westside Productions will become.
I want to see tours. I want to see artists with more streams. I want to see artists with more engagement on their socials. I want to see the studio being booked up 24/7. You know, I want to see success in whatever light that brings for each individual that's in here. You know, whatever they see as that success. And I just want to see a general sense of happiness. You know, like you said, you came in here, you felt that vibe of like family and stuff. If we don't have that, it doesn't matter how successful we get, because that's not what Westside is. That's my manifestation.
I love it. That's spot on too. I love it. Now the last thing we do here is called Get It Off Your Chest, and basically maybe to talk shit to some people or give some words of encouragement, whatever you feel is needed that you need to get off your chest, so you don't have that next
Panic attack.
Come on, get that off your chest before we see you again.
Andrew Lloyd, man, get me in the nominations. They come out Monday. I better be in there, man. That's all I gotta say. I know my guy been talking, you know what I'm saying? I need to get you on the pod too so we can talk. Yeah. No, bro. I guess it's a little thing to get off the chest, but you know, I'm just playing. But no, but like for real, like I you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I hope Westside got nominated pretty well for the Ohio Entertainment Awards. But I mean, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because it you know, it's not validation for anything. It's just, I mean, I guess it is validation, but it's not what we need, but it's what we want. Yeah. We want to make sure we're there in the same room as everybody. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, these people know that we are working as hard as we can.
I love it.
You know, so the other shit, getting off my chest, artists, quit relying on promo codes to sell tickets. I've been saying this on the pod on I Hate Rappers a little bit, and I'm gonna keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep like enforcing this type of stuff when it comes to show promotions. I'm done giving you guys cheap promo codes because at the end of the day, like I said earlier in the episode, expenses. If you sell 15 tickets or 10 tickets at 15 a pop, that's 150. If you sell 10 tickets at 5 a pop, that's only $50. Sell 10 at 10, it's 100. And you can average that math out to whatever. But if you're selling and making 150, which is like whatever the slot is worth for that show, then that ends up going to the general show pot. If everybody does that, one, every artist gets paid more money because you sold more money in tickets. Two, the business gets paid more, and we're able to spread our influence more and being able to, I don't know, get you pictures at shows and hire a photographer for that specifically to get you as many as possible, not just have freelance people come in to take all the money that you just got off of the show plus more. And then three, we're going to be able to get better production value off of the show. You know, I'm not going to say better venues because No Class is one of the top tier as a, you know, as a 250 or like right around that range capacity venue, top tier venue.
Absolutely.
Like it's one of the best.
Consistent and everything, yeah.
What happens when we need a bigger venue? What happens when you're like, hey, Greg, book me a show and I can bring in 150 people and I can't get a venue that's going to, you know, support 500 people because there's going to be a couple other people that can bring in 150 people as well. What happens then? We can't get that venue because we never got to the point where we had the money to being able to explore that. You want to know how much the Odeon cost when we booked that in 2021?
With the YSN Flow, right?
Yeah, $3,000.
$3,000.
$3,000.
And that was their last show. That was their last hip hop show.
I don't know what they're doing now, but
yeah, they're redoing all types of shit. Yeah.
But like, dude, I know venues. Anything that's like a 700 cap to 1,500 cap, thousands of dollars a night. Yeah. You guys aren't bringing that in.
Yeah.
You know, think about what is the actuality of the business is around you, and then just understand that. So stop relying on promo codes.
Two things I want to say before we get out of here. One, I Hate Rappers podcast will be on the red carpet for the OEAs this year.
Yes, sir.
It's officially announced, y'all. Come on now. We're going to bring out the whole city for this motherfucker. 3,000 people. Yes, sir. Angelo, you already know what's going on. Secondly, artists. God damn it. Start thinking of yourself as a business and not an artist. You are a business. You are a company. You are an entity. You are something that people want to come buy. You can sell stuff off your name, merchandise, your name, your face, your likeness. All of those things are money makers. But if you look at yourself as a person who makes music, you are losing. I promise you, because all they're going to do, especially when you start making good music, is take everything else from you because they know the business. So artists, start thinking of yourself as business, your website, what you put out, how you put it out, your relationships, your partnerships, your management. You are a business artist. You are not just here. You are not just an artist. You are not just a musician. You are a business.
And just remember, all you got to do is take that first step for it to start progressing towards that next step.
Come on.